What's up, football fans? Kevin Smith with you, doing another call sheet short. Free agency rolls on. The NFL never sleeps every day, man. There's big stories to break. And we just had a big one, a surprising one, break on Friday afternoon when the Pittsburgh Steelers announced that they had traded Kenny Pickett, their starting quarterback and first-round draft pick in 2021, to the Philadelphia Eagles for basically nothing. The Steelers moved up 22 spots in the draft from the early fourth to the late third round to get Pickett. They did a little pick swap thing in the seventh round, but that was it. They pretty much handed Kenny Pickett to the Philadelphia Eagles. And let's do our big takeaways as to why that may be and what it means for both teams. All right, starting with the Steelers. Well, I think the biggest takeaway is this. It really exemplifies the degree to which Kenny Pickett had lost the locker room in Pittsburgh. There was a lot of dissension last year as the Steelers struggled offensively. Pickett, was injured, and then when he came back from injury, Mason Rudolph, who was playing pretty good football, kept the starting job. Pickett didn't handle that real well. Some of his comments to the media reflected a guy who felt like he should have earned his starting job back, that you can't lose it because of injury. Some of his teammates disagreed. There were some not so subtle comments in the locker room about the improved quarterback play under Mason Rudolph. And so as the offseason went, I think that there was an absence of support from that Pittsburgh locker room for Kenny Pickett. When the Steelers brought Russell Wilson in, there was an outpouring of support from some of the veterans, Minka Fitzpatrick, even older Steelers like James Harrison, Cam Hayward, going out to dinner, welcoming Russell Wilson in. All of that culminated in Kenny Pickett asking the Steelers to trade him. And one thing we've learned about Omar Khan, the GM, you show dissension, you're out. Deontay Johnson unloaded to Carolina after being disgruntled for much of the year, and now Pickett gone. So I think Kenny Pickett's inability to keep the locker room on his side is one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest, why he's out. Takeaway number two, this is clearly Russell Wilson's team now in Pittsburgh, and Russell Wilson has a chance now to really remake both his image and his legacy. I mean, Russell Wilson, for the first 8-9 years of his career in Seattle, was regarded as an elite quarterback, a magnanimous personality, a guy with a great following, loved by his teammates. But then he married the pop singer Ciara, a little bit of fallout in Seattle. He goes to Denver. It's a disastrous 2 years there. There's a sort of a sense that Russ is a selfish guy and a diva. He has a very public falling out with Sean Payton. But boy, when he came to Pittsburgh, man, he was embraced with open arms. And now he's got a chance on a Steelers team that made the playoffs last year, right, to lead them on a potentially deep playoff run. I mean, Pittsburgh's done some good things in free agency so far. They've got some holes to fill for sure, but they've done some good things. And they could be, with some right additions, a contender in the AFC. And if Russell Wilson leads the Steelers back on a long playoff run, it really remakes his legacy. And I think that's important for Russell Wilson. Takeaway number three, as for the Philadelphia Eagles, what does this say about them? Well, they needed a backup quarterback. And so it's not surprising that they made a move for one. The fact they could acquire Pickett for so cheap, I mean, all they had to do was swap picks and move down 22 spots. And then some late round stuff in 2025. That's nothing for the guy who was the 20th pick in the draft 2 years ago. What's it say about Jalen Hurts, though? I mean, they're not bringing in a veteran journeyman to sort of, be the distinguished number two. They're bringing in Pickett, who expects to have a chance to start again in the NFL. He's still got 2 years guaranteed under contract. And Jalen Hurts, it wasn't exactly smooth sailing for him in Philly last year. He also ran into some trouble in the locker room. Some of the Philadelphia beat writers hinted after the season ended that Hurts had a long way to go to repair his relationship in the locker room. Philly's now bringing in a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. And if Moore can't get Hurts back to the way that he was playing a couple years ago when the Eagles had that great Super Bowl run, maybe they think about moving to Kenny Pickett. So, I mean, I'm not saying Pickett is being brought in to replace Jalen Hurts by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly puts Jalen Hurts on notice that if he doesn't play good football, he doesn't win back the locker room, there's a former number one pick who's going to be eager for another chance to start in his rearview mirror. And so Philly makes a move there, maybe to light a fire under Jalen Hurts. So, man, big doings in the trade market in the state of Pennsylvania. That one came as a shock to me. My phone had been off for a while. I turned it back on, had 117 messages. You can't sleep this time of year, man. Shame on me. All right, that's Kevin Smith with another Call Sheet Short. We will be back with more news very shortly.